Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Open Minds podcast with Arpita. Today's conversation is close to my heart and especially important this Pride Month. We are talking about LGBTQIA plus rights, allyship, and what really inclusivity looks like, not just in hashtag, but in homes, workplaces, classrooms, and laws. So now before we dive in, let's take a moment to understand the term we are using. LGBTQIA plus stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer or questioning, intersex, asexual, and plus acknowledges the many identities beyond these letters. Queer is an umbrella term that many people in the community use proudly, although it was once used negatively. Today, it's reclaimed, representing anyone whose gender identity or sexuality doesn't conform to societal norms. But here's the thing, you don't have to be queer to care. That's where allyship comes in. And my guest today, Shubhangi Gupta, is a shining example of what that looks like in action. She identifies as cisgender, she, her, but she chooses to stand up, speak out, and stay curious about how to support marginalized voices. This episode is a must listen for anyone wondering how can I be a better ally? How do I support without centering myself? What can I actually do to make spaces safer and kinder for queer folks? Let's dive into this heartfelt, eye opening chat with Shubhangi Gupta. Hello, Shubhangi. A very warm welcome to Open Minds podcast with Arpita.
Hi, Arpita. Thank you for having me today.
So, Shubhangi, so as we've met in Get Together event, I want you to introduce yourself to my audience.
For sure, I think it is a little bit of long introduction. I start with my life in titles, which is I've been working as a product manager for the last 1 year and as a developer advocate for the last 3 years. Apart from that, I run a lot of communities. I've been doing that since 2018. So I run Google Developer Groups Noida. I'm also a Women Tech Makers Ambassador. I am also a Git Campus expert. And apart from that, I help with communities and I speak at events like this Get Together event where we met. And before that, I ran a mental health startup and I've been advocating for diversity and inclusion for almost like 5-6 years now.
Oh, okay, that's great. That's great, and that caught my interest in that in this particular podcast as well. So, let's start with your journey. What first made you passionate about inclusivity and queer rights?
Um, I think just seeing people around me. So I was in a women's only college and I was running this mental health startup. And I think even before that, a lot of my friends were queer. But, just 377 wasn't updated back then. It was still criminal to be queer, which is just absurd for me, honestly. So I wanted to do everything that I can in, my bandwidth to help these people feel like a normal person. They can have normal rights, equal to existing, not just be called criminals for being who they are.
And what does being an ally mean to you? Like beyond using the right language or posting on social media, what does it actually mean?
So I think thankfully this year the being an ally trend died where all companies would change to a rainbow logo, which honestly wasn't actually helping the community that much. This year more people took real action, and even like you're asking what I do personally, supporting small businesses that are run by queer people, going to events where these people they're singing, they're selling, supporting them, buying tickets, so they get a chance to grow. And as companies also, you can offer spots to these people. Like something that we do with GDG Noida is that whenever we're hosting an event, we either try to bring someone from the underrepresented group, could be a woman, could be a queer run business, and we ask them to do catering for us or do swags for us. So at least we are supporting them however we can. Just a little way of contributing.
That's great. And what are some common mistakes you see well-meaning allies making? And how can we do better?
there are a lot of things that sometimes people do wrong, but I won't say that that should stop people from trying. Something that I see a lot of people doing is especially making the gay joke, where they'll just call anyone a friend, someone who doesn't even identify as queer, as being gay, and they'll just start making fun of them. That's not really cool. Not to just the person who's being joked about. He may be okay with that, but other people who might be queer may not come out to that group because they feel unsafe or unseen in that space. And this is one of the most common ones. And the next one is just using the wrong pronouns. My God, that's just so simple. You can just ask someone what their pronouns are, or call them they if you don't know if they're like a he or a she or whatever they prefer. So yeah, these are two basic ones.
So how do you educate yourself on queer issues? Any books, people, or live experiences that really shaped your thinking?
A lot of things, especially when I was starting to learn about these people. I interacted with a lot of them to understand how they prefer to be, called, or what basically I can do to be a better ally, not just, exist and support without actually doing anything practically. So I talked to a lot of people, understanding what they actually need, trying not to be preachy. But they would say that we just need support. We just want to be included. We don't want to be asked about, how things are. Something a lot of queer people get is like, so do you have a girlfriend now? Or if someone's pansexual, then they would get asked questions which are very intimate. Like you won't even ask your straight friends that question, right? Mm-hmm. So why would you ask a queer person that question? Right. So I really learned a lot from the experiences that I've had. And apart from that, I watch a lot of TikToks. So thankfully, that gave me a lot of insights on, how queer biology works, or how it's actually natural to be queer, and just other things on how to refer or what's the correct way to support the community. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that sums it up. Yeah.
So in your opinion, like what role does storytelling or media representation play in shaping how society views the queer community?
Yeah, I mean, this is the sadder part of current media, especially in India, where queer people are portrayed very poorly. The typical Bollywood movies would just, it's just a poor reflection of the community.
Right.
Yeah, I think some of the Indian media is doing good in this regard. Made in Heaven season 2 shows a transgender person, Trinetra. She's very popular. It shows her and how her journey is through dating or just existing in the normal world. And then some Western media, actually, I won't say Western media is all good on this front either, but they are a little progressive. And some series like Schitt's Creek or Sex Education do portray being queer as very normal. Like, if you watch Schitt's Creek, it's like the parents have completely accepted that this person's queer and pansexual, and they don't question it that much. So that throws such a positive light on being a queer.
Yeah. So as queer movement is evolving in India, but what's still missing from the mainstream conversation?
I definitely evolving. Yes, I would agree on that word, but it's such a long way to go. Yes, 377 was decriminalized, but there is no real rights that queer people have. Like they can't get married, they can't buy a house, they can't adopt. So it's basically they just get the very basic of being human right now. So a long way to go on the government front or the legal front of things. But a longer way I see is with the society. It's still very hard for people to accept that these people exist, especially like the older generation. It's very difficult for them to even accept like someone in their family could be queer. Sometimes they never find out, like, if someone is, and then a lot of repression happens, and that just leads to poor mental health in all. So I think as a society, we have a long way to go.
Yeah, so the main reason is if the family never find out is because I guess queer people, they don't have the courage to open up about themselves, right? And that leads to a lot of I'm sure a lot of mental frustrations and everything.
For sure.
Yeah.
So they definitely feel repressed. But also, even if someone opens up and then they're told that this is wrong, or they're put into therapy to correct themselves, that's just even worse. So a lot of people in India don't really want to come out.
But I don't know why people are not accepting it on a, it's change on a gender level, or we can say on a chromosomal level. Just like everybody can have different eyes, different color or shade of the eyes, is just that normal. I mean, it's not abnormal. We accept every hair, every kind of hair, every kind of eyes, different kind of nose shapes, heights, and everything. I guess queer is just that. It's just on a chromosomal level, right? So it shouldn't be a lot, but yeah, I guess people in India and most around the world made it so difficult for them.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think I can add to that as well. So something that I've seen why people find it difficult to accept is they think it's not biological. They think it's just a phase. And then people find it very difficult to accept. They think that the person's doing something wrong or, malign intention, which is not really great. There's this one time I was writing a blog for a college magazine on, being queer or Pride Month. And someone in my family saw it. Just me writing the blog. I was like, this is very normal. What's wrong with it? And they just like freaked out, completely freaked out. They're like, oh my God, what are you doing? This is just wrong. And yeah, these people shouldn't exist. It's wrong. And then I had to like sit them down after they calmed down to explain to them that how it's actually completely natural. So,
so did they understand?
I think so, like a little bit. At least they had the intention of understanding. So, yeah.
Right. So, what are some tangible ways non-queer people can support the queer community year-round, not just in June because it's a Pride month, but year-round? How can they support?
So I'll tell you both. Like in June, what you can do, because a lot of queer communities get active where they're hosting events, walks, musical shows, drag shows, even in Delhi especially. So what you can do is attend these events, try to experience what it is, supporting the community in the face front of it, actually meet the people you're trying to support. So that would be great. Like in June, you can actually advocate and attend these events. And all year round, so a lot of communities, especially like Gacy Family, Delhi Queer Spaces, they are active year round. So they are sometimes doing pop-up shops, just queer people presenting their business pop-ups. You can go buy some things that you like. So that's one great way to do it. And again, I think I mentioned this before, but like reaching out to queer businesses is a great way. Just providing them any employment opportunities is also good. Just a small way of contributing. If you run something small and if you need an intern, you can hire someone who's queer, who does this. Just tiny things that you can do.
So, a lot of people wants to be ally, but they're afraid of saying the wrong thing, because we don't know what to say, what not to say. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to be an ally, but is afraid of saying the wrong thing?
I don't think it should stop you from being an ally. You can support in your small ways. And definitely talk to the people, right? So a lot of queer people do understand that people are new to the space. They don't know the correct pronouns, or they might refer to you as guys. So sometimes they are understanding and they can correct you. And sometimes they won't correct you, but their facial expressions or the way they behave around you then will tell you how to, change something, or just point yourself to something that wrong you said. So a lot of times, even I did that when I started, and there was an intern in my company who was, she had just transitioned. So now we have to refer to her as they, but I would, because I was naturally used to calling her a she, I would at the starting of the meetings call her a she, and then I slowly, taught myself that no, she, like, they prefer they now, so I have to use the right pronoun. So just small ways, and then they'll point you out to the right direction.
So many people think decriminalizing Section 337, Section 377 was the end of the fight. But the queer community still doesn't have the equal rights in areas like you said earlier also spoke, like marriage, adoption, and inheritance. So, what are your thoughts on these ongoing legal gaps, and how can we help, fill these gaps?
So yeah, I think I did address a little bit of it. How you can help is definitely when something like this is going on. So when 377 decriminalizing, it was a very long case. It was aired on all the news channels, I think a week long or so. And yes, it decriminalized, but we didn't have any actual rights now. How we can help is when these cases are going on, or when a public vote is needed, or even just normal advocacy is needed. Just talk to people around you and try to help them understand about the community, because the unawareness causes a lot of scare among people. How I've seen this is, so this person I was telling you about, the relative who saw me writing an article, just freaked out. So at least she had the intent of understanding. So just have table conversations with your parents or grandparents or your kids to make them understand this is completely normal. They are just existing. It's completely normal. There's nothing to freak out about. Just normalizing being queer could be the very big first step.
How we can protect queer people from like discrimination in workplaces, school and housing. Like school and workplaces is like very important. So, what should school do, or what should workspace do, workplaces do?
So something I think I advocated a couple of years back is that some basic things should be added to the school curriculum, especially mental health related and queer community related. And a big example of this is if someone's queer, while growing up in schools around them, they've seen two genders, male and female. Now they don't know something else exists. Only when they've grown up, thankfully now kids have access to internet, which is debatable, but they can find out when they're a teenager or so that, okay, being queer is also an option. But before that, they feel very repressed. And as a kid, that can harm you a lot, especially when I see so much bullying in schools as well. And I won't say bullying that used to happen back in the day, but there's still, bullying like, ye to gay hai, or, things like that. Like kids also say that to other kids. And that's definitely not normal. And the parents may never find out, either from their kid or the kid being bullied. Like they might never find out. So just educating the kids that it's completely normal to be gay could just remove that level of bullying and help with so many mental health problems. So that is something that the schools can do. In housing, again, it's a very personal space, and considering the place where our parents have come from, they may not understand it from the start or the get-go. Trying is something that you can do, but I've also seen a lot of queer people try and fail. Their parents never come around to accept them. Sometimes they have to completely abandon the family to exist as they are, which is also an okay option. That's why the queer community is such lovely and supportive people. Like they're the best bunch of people you can come around. So housing is very personal on that front.
How do you think?
But
the problem is,
yeah, go ahead.
So I was just telling that the problem is कि अभी हम उससे ऊपर नहीं उठे कि हमारा रेसिज्म कलर पे था, पर्सनालिटी पे है, हाइट पे है, द वे वी स्पीक पे है, और अभी मतलब आई गेस इट्स अ लॉट फॉर पीपल टू टेक, जो अभी तक कलर से ऊपर नहीं उठ पाए हैं. वो सेक्सुअली किसी का अगर जेंडर किसी का चेंज है तो उसको कैसे एक्सेप्ट करें. इट्स अ लॉन्ग गैप, राइट? I guess it's going to take a lot of time.
Definitely.
Because we teach our kids कि ठीक है, अगर किसी की हाइट के ऊपर किसी को नहीं बुली करना है, किसी के कलर के ऊपर you cannot bully someone, और किसी का आइज कलर चेंज है, किसी का पर्सनालिटी लुक बहुत कुछ चेंज है. But I guess जेंडर पे उन्हें सिखाना is gonna be it's gonna take a lot, right?
Yeah, and I've seen parents being scared of that as well. So when I was advocating for that, we had conversations with parents, and they were against it. They were like, what if the kid finds out there's an option and they take it? Our counterpoint was that that's okay if they want to take it. Like it should be their choice always.
Yeah.
I met a very nice bunch of parents. Actually, they had a young kid, and that person identified as queer. Like they knew from starting. So they said such a beautiful thing. They said, we will love who he will love. Like, just plain, simple acceptance. Like, so beautiful.
I think allies can play a role in advocating for laws that protect queer people from discrimination in the workplaces as well.
I think something that I've seen a lot of people not do in workplace and you expect a grown-up adult to do is be inclusive. Workplaces are more hostile when especially queer people are going, because people don't actually know who these people are, so they just discriminate on the tag of them being queer. So something you can do from the get-go is accept the person. This is just a person and we're going to talk to them. So try talking to them, have a conversation with them. If a manager is good and inclusive, they can try guiding these people. And something that is scientifically proven is that these people are smarter through IQ levels, emotionally and mentally. So if you groom them well, they can actually be the best employee of the month even. So just try to include them in your chai conversations, in your coffee conversations. Just be inclusive from the get-go, not be discriminate just because they come with a tag. And that could go a long way, even for you and for them. So just try the small thing.
Okay, that's great. So, also, what's your take on the recent setbacks around same-sex marriage in India? Do you think our legal system is keeping pace with the social changes?
So I think it ties back into the question about 377. Legal system is trying to keep pace. It's right now not able to because a lot of politics and social societal norms come in. The very interesting thing on that front is that being queer was very normal in the ancient India. Like if you go to temples and you see all these sculptures on the walls, a lot of times you will see queer people represented there. The Hijra community, which now has thoda sa degraded, but they were very prominent in the ancient India. Like they used to be advisors in the courts of kings and stuff. So there is a lot of history to Indian queer people, but suddenly when British came in, it completely changed. They tried to make women feel bad about themselves, us feel bad about our skin color, queer people feel bad about existing. So that's where a lot of this trauma comes from, and it's very generational trauma. So yes, legal system is trying to keep up. Modern people are trying to keep up, but how our parents have grown up, or how the current that generation has grown up, which is currently representing all of us in courts and Lok Sabhas and Rajya Sabhas, that will take some time to mend. So yeah, I think we'll get
there. So finally, what's your message to our listeners this time, especially to those who are still finding the courage to accept themselves or others?
I'd say, it's your journey. And whenever you feel comfortable, you should come out. You should not push yourself to come out because people are doing it, the internet is telling you to, or, you just read it somewhere. You should be comfortable in telling your parents, your support system, your friends, whenever you feel like it. There's no pressure. It's your story. But when you do come out, you should know that there is a very supportive community behind this. And you will get the support that you need. Even if it's not coming from your family, you will find support. You will find a space to exist.
Great. So it was really a great chat with you, great conversation. And as you suggested that, we should be participating in the, in the events which queer people are doing, and we should be going there. We should be trying to understand how they, how they are. So I'm also going to go to the event, and I will also try to understand how they are. But I am very accepting to all the genders. It's very normal for me. It's like different eye colors, different height, different hairs, and different sexual, preferences. It's that normal for me. I don't know why people are not accepting that. People will accept that eventually, but hope that happens soon. Thank you so much, Shubhangi, for your valuable time.
Yeah, thank you. That's like podcasts like you would raise awareness in the community and make people accept something and normalize. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. I hope today's conversation left you with more clarity, more questions, and most importantly, more compassion. As Shubhangi reminded us, allyship is not a title, it's a practice. Whether you are queer or not, whether you are learning or unlearning, this Pride Month, let's commit to be louder in love, stronger in support, and braver in action. Remember, listening is activism, sharing is activism, holding space is activism. So if this episode moved you, challenged you, or made you think, please share it with someone. And don't forget to follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment on the Open Minds podcast with Arpita. It helps us grow and reach more hearts like yours. Until next time, keep your minds open and heart louder. Bye.